So I'm going to solve for side y, and I'm going to solve for side y by setting up a ratio, and this time I'm going to set up my ratio slightly differently. I'm going to use the opposite of side A, and I'm going to divide that by the hypotenuse of the same triangle. And this is, instead of writing a ratio between the triangles, I could also write a ratio within the triangle between the two sides. That's what I'm going to do the same. As long as I do the same for the other triangle, so in this case, I'm going to have side 3 compared to, because that's my opposite angle A, okay, opposite angle A compared to hypotenuse. So I need to compare that to the hypotenuse, which is going to be y. Okay, so I end up with 6 to 10 is equal to 3 to y. And we know that this, by scale factor, we know that's, I'm going to divide by 2 going from here to here, here to here, so that should be divided by 2 going from here to here. Okay, so that would have been using this ratio, okay, and this multiplying dividing factor. But I'm doing it slightly differently. And I'm going to find my multiplying factor this way. I'm going to say that from here to here is going to be times by 0.6. So then I'm going to divide by 0.6 to solve for y. So y is equal to 3 divided by 0.6 works out to be 5. Okay, and if we use our scale factor, yeah, this triangle is half the size of this one here. That should be, that side hypotenuse should be half the length, which is 5. Okay, and again, if you want, you could also solve this by cross multiplying. I get 6y equals 3 times 10. Okay, so y divided by, y is going to be 30 divided by 6. And again, we get the same value that way. So we can, just a couple things to make sure we're clear on. This is just using a proportion. Again, we need to make, as long as we make sure the directionality of the proportion is correct, we can make the proportional comparison. And then we can use our times divide factors to solve. Okay, since it's times and divide, we can cross multiply. Okay, to solve this one. If it's not times and divide, okay, if we don't have a proportional relationship, we have some pluses in there, we can't cross multiply. Okay, in this case here, same thing, except now the difference is here I did a ratio comparing two sides, this side to this side, whereas in this example, I compared the same two different sides in the same triangle. Okay, and we know that with proportionality, we know that there's a times factor going left and right and up and down. Here's our scale factor of times 2 going from the left to right. Sorry, from right to left, there's a times 2, just like we saw here, okay? Because we can turn these proportions around and we can still get the same times divide relationship or proportional relationship. Okay, so that's a lot of stuff, but basically we're using a proportion and doing a proportional comparison. So here we're going to do the same thing. So I'm going to solve for these other sides, and I'm going to call these we'll call these unknown sides, let's call this one C and B. Okay, so we have side B and side C, and I'm going to do the same thing here as I did. I'm going to do a comparison, and I'm going to do this within the triangle. So I'm going to do the adjacent side to side A divided by the opposite side to side A. Okay, so I'm going to compare those two sides, and in this triangle here, I just got to make sure I keep it in the right direction. So I have adjacent to side A, well, that's going to be B. Okay, and maybe I'll just color code that just so that we're clear. That side goes with, that side B is next to angle A, which must mean it goes without. And so I'm going to do B, and then I need to do the opposite to angle A. Okay, opposite to angle A, yeah. Opposite to angle A, opposite to angle A. And so in this triangle, I need to make the comparison of the side length of 8. Okay, so I did this to this is equal to this to this. Okay, and using the colors, it should be fairly clear that we did it correctly. And then again, without the colors, we do need to double check these things to make sure we have it in the right direction. So again, I'm just going to, in this case, I'm just going to do my cross multiplying and solving this. So I'm going to do 8 times 8 divided by 6. Okay, maybe I should put it in brackets like this. 8 times 8 divided by 6 equals my side b. So b is equal to 64 divided by 6, which is 10 2/3. I'm just going to leave this as 32 over 3, okay, and which is approximately 10.67. Okay, we should start getting used to using fractions. I know we like to use decimals to know about how long. Okay, that 10.67 is an appropriate length for that side with this side B here. Okay, but again, the fractions are always going to be better. And then lastly, we'll do side C. So I'm going to use this triangle here. I don't have to use that other triangle. I can use this triangle that I solved for here. So I'm going to do C compared to 8. Okay, hypotenuse to adjacent to side B, hypotenuse to adjacent to side B. So it's going to be 5, 2, 3. Again, notice I am talking about the sides relative to the angles, and that's how we're going to keep track of these sides. Opposite side A, adjacent side B. We want to make sure we're using this language to keep track of these sides. And again, I'm going to cross multiply to solve this because I know it's a proportional relationship, and I know it's times and divide solves proportional relationships. So I end up with 40 over 3 is my answer. Okay, so this is approximately, again, the decimal value is going to be about 13.3 repeating. Okay, so I'll round that to 13.33.